Welcome to today's session, children. Hope you are fit and fine. In today's session, we will discuss about Mendelian disorders, which is a part of chapter 5, that is Principles of Inheritance. Mendelian disorders are the disorders which are caused due to mutation in a normal allele. A mutation in a normal allele makes it defective, and this defective allele cannot produce a protein or produces or changes the shape of RBC, and something will go wrong. Some metabolism is having an error there. So let us understand these Mendelian disorders. First of all, let us look into what is hemophilia, that is the bleeder's disease. Hemophilia is a defect of the blood which prevents its clotting. A seriously affected person may bleed to death after even a minor cut. What is the cause of this then? It is a sex linked trait by a recessive gene H located in the X chromosome. This gene controls the synthesis of a protein needed for the clotting of the blood. And this particular gene has two alleles. The normal allele is dominant, where the protein is produced, and when there is a mutation, then this allele H is resulting and the protein is not produced. So let us look into this particular case, children, where there is a healthy woman and a man who is marrying this healthy woman, and the man is hemophilic because he is having this particular defective allele on the X chromosome. Because he is having this allele and there is only one X chromosome, he is affected with hemophilia and he will pass on this X chromosome with the defective allele to both of his daughters. So both the daughters are carriers, whereas the mother is absolutely normal. So she will give these X chromosomes to the sons. So both the sons are normal. So in this case, when the man is affected with hemophilia, he will pass on the defective allele to the daughters, and the daughters are said to be carriers because they have the dominant normal allele here, which is shown in yellow here, and because of the dominant normal allele, they will not be affected with hemophilia, but they will carry this allele to the next generation. So we call them as carriers. In case of male, male also already has only one X chromosome, so there is no point in carrying it to the next generation without getting affected. So the man will be affected. So we will not use the word carrier for the male here, especially when the Mendelian disorder is X linked. Okay. So let us now take the next case where there is a normal male and the carrier female. Now, in this case, because the male is normal, he will pass on this normal X chromosome to both the daughters. Okay, and because the mother is having one defective allele here, she will pass on this to one of her daughters, and that particular daughter will become the carrier here. So, in this case, 50% chances of the daughter to be a carrier and 50% chances of the daughter to be absolutely normal. Okay, and let us look into the sons. Now, because mother is only a carrier, she will pass on one of the X chromosomes to the son, and if this particular X chromosome is normal, her son is normal, and here you can see that there is a defective allele X chromosome passed here. So one of the son is hemophilic here. He is not a carrier now. He is already affected. So in this case, we will say that when there is a carrier mother and a normal father, 50% chances of the son to be normal and 50% of the chances of the son to be affected here, right? Now let us look into another case where father is hemophilic and mother is a carrier. But that means the allele is there in both of them. The defective allele is there with both of them. In this case, you can see, children, that one of the daughters is affected and another is a carrier. So 50% chances of the daughter to be carrier, 50% chances of the daughter to be affected. Now, in this case, because both the parents have the allele, defective allele here, one son is going to be normal. Why? Because one of the X chromosome from the mother is absolutely normal. So she will pass on that to this particular son. So he is normal. And the other son, she will pass the defective allele here. And Y chromosome from the father. So this particular son is affected. So in this case, we will say that 50% chances of the son to be normal and 50% to be affected. So that's how we speak in case of human genetics, right? Now, next, the same thing is just depicted with different colors here. Okay, father who is affected is shown in black here, and the mother is shown. I mean, we use that without using any color here, rather. Okay, and in this case, when the mother is affected and the father is unaffected, the mother is shown in red color. So, little differently it is shown for you to understand. That's all. Okay. Hemophilia, different types are there, and hemophilia has been identified in Queen Elizabeth family, that is the royal family of England. So this also has been called as royal disease, and hemophilia different types are there. At least two types we'll try to learn here. Hemophilia A, which is called classic hemophilia, where there is a factor 8 which is deficient here, and hemophilia B is there, which is called Christmas disease, and a factor 9 is deficient here. Okay. Now, next, moving on to another blood related disorder, that is a sickle cell anemia. Now, this is different from hemophilia because hemophilia is X linked disease, and this is not X linked, it is autosome linked. Means we are speaking about the other 22 pairs. So, this particular chromosome on which this particular allele is present is one of those autosomes here, right? So, here because it is autosomed recessive trait. When both of the partners are heterozygous or carriers for the allele, the defective allele, then that the chances of the children to get the disease will be coming up. Otherwise, if people are heterozygous for the trait, the normal dominant allele is there, so the person will not really suffer from the disease. Now, let us understand what exactly this is. The defective allele is represented as HBS like this. Okay, and the normal allele is represented as HBA like this. Okay, and the disease is characterized by the sickle shaped RBCs, that is half moon shaped RBCs, which are formed under low oxygen conditions. The change in the shape of RBC is due to the presence of a defective type of hemoglobin called sickled hemoglobin, sickle cell hemoglobin, or hemoglobin S. The sickle cell in the heterozygous conditions protects the person against malaria. Why? Because the malarial pathogen, that is Plasmodium falciparum, survives in the RBCs if these RBCs are round like this. Okay. But if the RBCs are sickle shaped like this, then Plasmodium falciparum is unable to survive there. So the person who is heterozygous for the trait is getting some protection from malaria. Now let us look into the details of this particular disease. Actually, the normal DNA will be like this. You know that DNA is a double helix. Two strands are there which are complementary. So GAGCTC. In the sixth place, adenine is there and thymine are there like this. But there is a mutation where adenine is becoming thymine and thymine is becoming adenine here. So this particular CAC, this is actually transcribed onto mRNA as GAG. CTC is transcribed as GAG, and it should result in this particular amino acid GLU, that is glutamine. And instead of that, because GAG is becoming GUG, because CTC has become CAC. So CAC is transcribed as a GUG, and now GUG codes for valine. So instead of glutamine, there is valine coming up. So there is a shape in the RBC which is changing like this. Clear? So there is a point mutation which makes the normal allele into a defective allele. So let us look into this particular case where both father and mother are heterozygous for the trait. That is like your capital T small t crossed to capital T small t. Recall the Mendel's F1 selfing type, isn't it? Where you are trying to work out the cross and getting the F2 progeny. Similar to that we will have here. So when both the parents are heterozygous here, the scope is that either it will be like a healthy child, like your capital T, this is a healthy child, or you will get capital T small t case, that is heterozygous traits here. Two children are heterozygous for the trait, or you will get small t, a case where the child is affected with sickle cell anemia. And here I am using the word child, I am not saying boy or a girl, because as we spoke just now, that this is autosomal trait. So there is no point of speaking about a girl or a boy, because it is going to equally affect a girl or boy. And we are speaking about this or this or this because in case of human beings, the when the both husband and wife are like this, both of them are affected, the chances of their having a normal child, etc., will be spoken. So when the husband and wife both are affected with the sickle cell anemia, they will have 25% chances to have a healthy child, and 50% chances of a child to be carrier, and 25% chances of the child to be affected. This is how we speak about in human genetics. Next, moving on to a case where there is um, the same, in fact, previous case is depicted in colors. Okay, so absolutely normal person is shown in black, and the other people, heterozygous ones, are shown in black and red, and a totally affected person is represented like this. Now, next, moving on to phenylketonuria. Before moving on to phenylketonuria, let us understand that there are certain problems coming up in human beings called inborn errors of metabolism, and Sir Garrod has written a book called Inborn Errors of Metabolism, and this is the special case where there is no change in shape or anything that is produced here, but a metabolism is affected. So a particular defective allele is responsible for the non-production of an enzyme. An enzyme is not produced because of the defective allele, and so a metabolism is totally affected. So phenylketonuria comes in that uh, category. So phenylketonuria is an autosomal recessive trait. What are the symptoms here? You see, phenylketonuria causes extreme mental retardation. It also results in hypopigmentation of skin and eczema. What exactly is happening is, there is a particular enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase that is needed to metabolize phenylalanine. Recall from biomolecules chapter of class 7 children, you have read about amino acids, and phenylalanine is an aromatic amino acid. So this particular amino acid has to be converted to tyrosine in a stepwise manner. So phenylalanine is acted upon by an enzyme called phenylalanine hydroxylase, and particular enzyme is totally absent because of the defective allele. So what happens is, phenylalanine is accumulating in the body at different places. Okay, and what are the chances of babies to be born with this particular disorder is, 1 in every 10,000 to 20,000 births can be a phenylketonuric patient. Okay, then it results in mental retardation and also causes fair skin boldness. Why? Because this tyrosine, in the previous slide I have represented here, tyrosine is also converted to melanin, which is the pigment for the skin. So because phenylalanine itself is not converted to tyrosine, then tyrosine getting converted to melanin doesn't arise at all. So because of absence of melanin, they will have a very fair skin. And what happens to this phenylalanine when it is accumulated in the body at different places, children? It is getting converted to different types of keto acids like phenylpyruvic acid. And this particular keto acid is also given out in the urine, and hence the name phenylketonuria. You understand why it is called phenylketonuria? Because the keto acids are also given out in the urine. It accumulates also in the liver, kidneys, and the brain, and that is why there is a mental retardation. Now let us look into one more blood-related disorder, that is thalassemia. This thalassemia also is an autosomal recessive disorder, and basically two types of thalassemias are there, alpha and beta. there is severe anemia in both the alpha and beta thalassemias. There is severe anemia due to reduction in the number of alpha chains or beta chains produced. Let us recall that human hemoglobin is a tetramer of two alpha and two beta chains. So, two alpha and two beta chains make up one hemoglobin molecules, and several such thousands of hemoglobin molecules are to be present in an RBC. When the alpha and beta chain production is reduced, what happens? Definitely there is a reduction in the hemoglobin production as such, and because of that there is anemia, and oxygen levels in the blood will go down. And if the person is homozygous for the trait, that is homozygous for the beta thalassemia or alpha thalassemia, then the problem is much more, because there is very less amount of oxygen in the body, and they require frequent blood transfusions. And homozygous to the thalassemia means they don't live a real life also. It can be fatal. They may die at an early age. These things come up. Okay, and with many more interesting things, let us meet in the next session, children. And until then, goodbye.